on the second chapter, and we have finished discussing till verse number 22. That was the last verse we discussed. So we're very grateful to Umesh Prabhuji and Vinita Uma Mataji for graciously hosting us today. And I'd also like to specially welcome, we have Sumit Prabhu's cousin, Malvika ji, she's here. So a warm welcome to you. And then we also have Vivek Prabhuji, he's come all the way from Dubai. So he's here for a business visit, but he's so eager to participate in Caitanya Caritamrita discussion, so he's made time to attend the session today. And you all remember we had not so good physical situation. She's here with Vikram Prabhu. So we want to thank her also and wish her a speedy recovery. So everyone kindly repeat. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana.
Shakti Deha Karayena Chaitanya Varnana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Jaya Jaya Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Gana.
Shakti Deha Kore Yena Chaitanya Varnana.
Shakti Deha Karayena Chaitanya Varnana.
So this chapter 2, entitled Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And right in the beginning of this chapter is the third Mangala Charan. And this is a bold assertion. He makes a very, very strong proposition. Like in Hindi you would say prastav. Right? And what does he say? He says that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Brahman is the effulgence of his body. And the Paramatma is but a plenary portion of Lord Chaitanya. And he is Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. So this is his proposition. And last time we discussed that in order to establish this, what does he have to do? He has to do 3 things. Does anyone remember? He has to make 3 arguments, just like a transcendental lawyer. He's made a proposition, now he has to make arguments in favor of that. So he has to make 3 arguments. Anyone remember any of the arguments? Yes, Mataji.
One is he's superior to Brahman and Paramatma.
Yes. First thing is that there are 3 manifestations of God: Bhagavan, Paramatma and Brahman. So first thing he has to establish is that Bhagavan is superior to Paramatma and Brahman. And then what is the second argument he has to make? Krishna is Bhagavan. And the third? Yes. And third is Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. There's no difference between Mahaprabhu and Krishna. And if he's able to do that, then he has supported his proposition with good logic and arguments. And last time what did we discuss? We discussed that how he establishes from the scripture that Krishna is the source of Brahman and Krishna is the source of the Paramatma. And which verses does he quote? Like which scriptures did he quote from? Brahma Samhita, yes. Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So he quoted this famous verse, Yasya Prabhava Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti from the Brahma Samhita, in which Brahmaji clearly says that Tad Brahma Nishkalam Ananta Ashesha Bhutam Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. That I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is endowed with great power. The glowing effulgence of his transcendental form is the impersonal Brahman. So very clear. And Prabhupada quotes in the purport to text number 16. He says that Krishna also makes this assertion in the Gita. In 14.27 he says, Brahman he pratishta aham. So he is the source of the Brahman. And then he shares two verses, one from the Gita and one from the Bhagavatam. And in the Gita, Krishna says that just one fragment of mine, right, I pervade the entire creation. That is the verse from the Gita 10.42. Ekam Shena Stito Jagat. Just by one tiny fragrant, one tiny portion, Eka Amshena, that he is situated everywhere. He's all pervading as the Paramatma. And from the Bhagavatam he quotes Bhishma Dev, who says that just when Bhishma Dev is about to depart this world, he's lying on the bed of arrows, and the Pandavas are there, Lord Krishna is personally there, and he's pouring his heart out, his realizations, and he's looking at Krishna. He says, as the sun appears differently situated to different seers, so also do you, the unborn, appear differently represented as a Paramatma in every living being. He says, but when a seer knows himself to be one of your servitors, no longer does he maintain this duality. He understands that this Paramatma is but a portion of you. And he says, thus I am now able to comprehend your eternal forms, knowing well the Paramatma to be your only plenary portion. And then he quotes a beautiful verse, right, which is that's the last verse, text number 22. Let us recite this verse together. Shaita Govinda Sakshat Chaitanya Gosai.
Saita Govinda Sakshat Chaitanya Gosai.
Jiva Nishtarite Aishe Dayalu Arunai. Shaita Govinda Sakshat Chaitanya Gosai.
Saita Govinda Sakshat Chaitanya Gosai.
Jiva Nishtarite Aishe Dayalu Arunai. So he says that same Govinda, right? Shaite Govinda, he is Sakshat, right? He's directly Chaitanya Gosai. And what does he come for? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to deliver all the jivas. Jiva Nishtarite Aishe. And he has come. And there's no personality who's more merciful than him. Dayalu Aranai. And then I told you to read this purport, which has many different quotations from many different scriptures, which assert the divinity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is foretold in many different scriptures, starting from the Upanishads, in the Puranas, in the Mahabharata, and in many other scriptures. Prabhupada has quoted Brahma, Yamala, Tantra, then different Puranas. So you can all read these verses where it's very clearly foretold about the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now we are going to start today a very interesting section. So in the next, you could say, in the rest of this chapter, what Kaviraj Goswami is going to do is he's going to demonstrate how Krishna is the Vishnu Paratattva. So even in the category of Vishnu, Krishna is supreme. Usually, most of us, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were all under the assumption that Vishnu is greater, or Narayan is greater than Krishna. Narayan, he predominates all the Vaikuntha planets, and Vishnu is, he's a maintainer, and he's so powerful. Whereas Krishna is like a coward boy. He's a villager. He's always doing things that bewilder everyone. He's stealing butter. He's stealing the gopis' garments. He's engaged in rasa dance. So everyone thinks that Krishna is a frivolous boy. He's just a coward boy, just having fun. Whereas Vishnu and Narayan are so powerful. So when we tell people no, and they always say that Krishna comes from Narayan, comes from Vishnu. So let us hear that how does Kaviraj Goswami explain this point or establish this point. So he starts with text number 23. He says that Lord Narayan, he dominates the transcendental world, right? And he's full of the six opulences. He is the personality of Godhead, the Lord of the goddess of fortune. And then in the next verse he says that the personality of Godhead is He who is described as the absolute whole in the Vedas, Bhagavatam, Upanishads and other transcendental literatures. No one is equal to Him. So what are the qualities of Lord Narayan? So He resides in the spiritual world in text number 23, Paro Vyomate Boshe. Right? So he resides in the transcendental world and he is full of the 6 opulences. Sad Aishwarya Purna. And he is Lakshmi Kanta, he is the goddess of, he is the husband or the lord of the goddess of fortune, and he is described as the absolute whole. Purna Tattva, Janra Kohe, Nahi Janra Sam, and no one is equal to him. So he is the supreme truth and no one is equal to him. And he explains from text number 25 to 28 that different devotees see the Lord in different ways. So he says, Bhakti Yoga Bhakta Pai Janhara Darshana.
Bhakti Yoga Bhakti Pai Janhara Darshana.
Surya Jena Savigraha Dekhe Devagana.
Surya Jena Savigraha Dekhe Devagana.
So how do the Bhakti Yogis, how do they see the Lord? Through their seva. Whereas those Jnana Yoga Marge Tanre Bhaje Je Shaba,
Jnana Yoga Marge Tanre Bhaje Shaba,
Brahma Atma Rupe Tanre Kare Anubhava,
Brahma Atma Rupe Tanre Kare Anubhava. And
those who walk the paths of knowledge and yoga, Jnana Yoga Marge. So Jnana Marg and Yoga Marg, those who practice this process, how do they see? They see Brahma Atma Rupe, Tanre Kore Anubhava. So they realize the Lord as the Brahman and the Paramatma. So thus one may understand the glories of the Lord through different modes of worship, as the analogy of the sun illustrates. And then he says in 28, he says, Shri Narayan Krishna Rya Swarupa Abheda,
Shri Narayan Krishna Swarupa Abheda,
Ekahi Vigraha Kintu Akara Vibheda.
Ekahi Vigraha Kintu Akara Vibheda.
So Narayan and Sri Krishna are the same personalities. But what is different in them? That their bodily features are different. Kintu Akara Vibheda. So there is difference in their forms. And what's the difference? He says in the next verse, he says the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has 2 hands and holds a flute. Whereas the other, he says Narayan, has 4 hands with conch, wheel, mace and lotus. And now he quotes to establish what the position of Krishna is. He quotes a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, this is spoken by Lord Brahma in a very famous chapter of the Bhagavatam, which is in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, which is the prayers of Lord Brahma. After Brahma comes to his senses and he realizes who he is dealing with, this little boy, what is his actual potency, what is his position, how powerful he is and how bewildering he is. He offers these beautiful prayers. These are one of my favorite prayers from the Srimad Bhagavatam. The kind of realizations that Brahmaji shares in those prayers. And we have some of the most famous verses in this section. So in this verse, this is a very interesting verse. So he says that Narayanas Tvam Nahi Sarvadehinam. Right? He says, O Lord of Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. Are you not, therefore, my father Narayan? So this is Brahmaji speaking to Krishna. He says, Narayan refers to one whose abode is in the water, born from Nara, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And that Narayan is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and not creations of Maya. So here he is telling Krishna, he is addressing Krishna as that, are you not Narayan? And Narayan has very interesting meanings, multiple meanings, which he will now start to explain. So one meaning in this is, he says Narayan refers to the one whose abode is in the water. So Nar means water and Ayan means who's resting. Who's resting in the water. Who rests in the water? That is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He's resting in the water. His abode is in the water. And he's saying that this Garbhodakshai Vishnu is but a plenary portion of whom?
Krishna.
Of Krishna. So this is Brahmaji telling Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th chapter, in the 10th canto, 14th chapter. And this is verse number 14. So Prabhupada says, this statement, which is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, was spoken by Lord Brahma in his prayers to Lord Krishna after the Lord had defeated him by displaying his mystic powers. We all know from the Bhagavatam what Brahmaji tried to do. What did he try to do? He stole the cowherd boys and he stole the calves. And what did Krishna do? How did he respond? Yeah, he expanded. He said, okay, you keep them. No problem. And you think that you can separate them from me? So he just expanded and he created. What did he create? Exact forms of the cowherd boys and the calves. And because they were directly Krishna himself, they became so attractive to their children and to their mothers, to their parents and their mothers especially. The mothers of all the calves, they were licking them as if they were so attracted to them. And all the children of the Gopas and the Gopis, they became so attracted to their parents. Because their parents they enjoyed Krishna's company and now they were getting Krishna's personal company. So Prabhupada says, Brahma had tried to test Lord Krishna to see if he was really the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing as a cowherd boy. When Brahma saw the mystic power of Lord Krishna's, he admitted defeat and offered prayers to the Lord, addressing him as the proprietor and seer of everything in the creation, and as the super soul who is within each and every living entity and is dear to all. That Lord Krishna is Narayan, the father of Brahma, because Lord Krishna's plenary expansion, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, after placing himself on the Garbha ocean, created Brahma from his own body. And after Brahma had offended Krishna by stealing his playmates and calves, he begged the Lord's pardon for his offensive act and prayed for the Lord's mercy. And how did he pray? He says, look, I took birth from your lotus that grew from your navel. So, since I took birth from your navel, you are both my father and mother. Am I not your son? Now he's asking for forgiveness. He said, you're my father and mother, I'm your son. So then he says in this is a beautiful verse, text number 33. It says, Pita mata balakera naloy aparadha.
Pita mata balakera naloy aparadha.
Aparadha shama more koroho prasad.
Aparadha shama more koroho prasad.
He says, parents never take seriously the offenses of their children. So sweetly he's saying, he says, na loy aparad. Pita mata balakera. Little boy. I'm a little boy. So they don't take offenses of their little child. So you should forgive this offense. And what? More koroho prasad. Give me your mercy. It says, Krishna said, "Oh Brahma." Now Krishna is responding, and he responds even in a sweeter way. He says, "Ami gopa tumi kaise amara nandan." He says, "I am but a coward boy. How can you be my son?" So Brahma replies, he says, "Are you not Narayan?" Brahma bole na tumi ki na hoy Narayan. Tumi Narayana suno tahara karan. He says, "Are you not Narayan? You are certainly Narayan. Tumi ki na hoy Narayan? You are certainly Narayan." And he says, "Now listen, Tumi Narayan suno tahara karan." I'm going to give you now evidence for this. So he says, all the living beings within the material and spiritual worlds are ultimately born of you, for you are the super soul of them all. Tahara je atma tumi mula swarupa. So you are the super soul of all of them. You are the original Atma, and ultimately everyone is born from you. And Prabhupada says that just like smoke is dependent on fire, but in the blazing fire there is no place for smoke. Smoke disturbs, but fire serves. He says the serving spirit of the residents of the transcendental world is displayed in 5 varieties of relationships with the Supreme Lord, who is the central enjoyer. So here Prabhupada is differentiating material nature from spiritual nature. So material nature, there is tendency for smoke. It's like material nature means there's smoke covering the fire. But when it's purely spiritual, like he says, just like in a blazing fire, when the fire is blazing, then there is no place for smoke. And that is pure spiritual, that's a pure spiritual realm. And when the fire of bhakti, the serving spirit of the transcendental world, of the residents of the transcendental world, then there is no smoke. And who's the central enjoyer? The Supreme Lord. He says, one considers himself the Lord of everything and thus tries to enjoy the illusory energy. But he is not successful because he is not independent. He is a minute particle of the energy of Lord Sankarshan. So basically he is saying in this that we are all dependent. We are not independent. And who are we dependent on? We are dependent on the Lord. He says, as the earth, he says in the next verse, as the earth is the original cause and the shelter of all the pots made of the earth, so you are the ultimate cause and the shelter of all living beings. So Prabhupada explains, as the vast earth is the source of the ingredients for all the earthen pots, so the Supreme Soul is the source for the complete substance of all individual living entities. Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all living entities. And this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.10, where the Lord says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. And in the Upanishads it is said, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Jo Bahunam Vidhati Kama. So Eko Jo Bahunam. So from that one, Nityo Nityanam, coming many, many eternals from the Supreme Eternal. And what is the difference between the tiny eternals and the Supreme Eternal? That we are conscious of ourselves, but the Lord is conscious of all the souls. And now he starts to give evidence of this. He says, the word Nara refers to the aggregate of all living beings, and the word Aina refers to the refuge of them all. So this is another explanation or the meaning of the word Narayan. So you are therefore the original Narayan. Atova tumi hao mool Narayan. Ei eka hetu suno dvitiya karana. So because you are the source of everything, just like the example he gave, that the earthen pots, what is the source of the earthen pots? The earth itself. Right? So therefore, you are the source of all the living entities. And therefore, you are the ultimate Narayan. You are the Mool Narayan. Now he says, now listen to the second reason. Jivera Ishvara Purushadi Avatara.
Jivera Ishvara Purushadi Avatara.
Tanha Shobha hoite tomar Aishvara apara.
Tanha Shobha hoite tomar Aishvara apara.
He says the direct lords of all the living beings are the Purusha incarnations. But your opulence and power are more exalted than theirs. He says, Atova adhishvara tumi sarva pita.
Ateva adhishvara tumi sarva pita.
Tumara shakti te tanra jagata rakshita.
Tumara shakti te tanra jagata rakshita.
Therefore you are the primal Lord, the original father of everyone. They, the Purushas, are protectors of the universes by your power. Since you protect those who are the shelter of all living beings. So we are all protected by whom? The Purusha avatars. But who is the shelter? He says, who protects the Purusha avatars?
Lord.
The Lord. He says, since you protect Narera Ayana Joto Koroha Palana.
Narera Ayana करते करह पालना
অতএব হও তুমি মূল নারায়ণ। So since you protect those, right, all narera, ayan, you are the shelter, joto, right, of whom? So you are the original. Otova, therefore, how you are tumi mool narayan. Again, you are the original Narayan. So he is the Adhishvara. He is a protector of the Purusha avatars. Now he says, "O my Lord," in text 43, please listen to the third reason. He says there are countless universes and fathomless transcendental Vaikunthas. Both in this material world and in the transcendental world, you see all the deeds of all living beings in the past, present, and future. Since you are the witness of such deeds, you know the essence of everything. He says, "Ithi joto jiva tare trai kolika karma, taha dekhe sakshi tumi jana shaba marma." So he is the witness, he is the sakshi. Who is the sakshi? So he's saying Krishna is the sakshi. Tumhara darshane sarva jagater sthiti,
तुम्हारे दर्शने सर्व जगतेर स्थिति
tumi na dekhile karo nahi sthiti gati.
तुम्ही न देखिले करो नाही स्थिति गति
All the worlds exist because you oversee them. Right? Tumhara darshane. You are overseeing them. Sarva jagatera sthiti, the entire state of existence, you are overseeing. Right? And no one can live. Tumi na dekhile. Right? If you don't observe, if you don't see, then no one can live, move, or have their being without your supervision. Narera ayan joto koro darshana,
नारेर आयन जते कर दर्शन
tahate o hao tumi mula narayana.
ताहते हो तुम्ही मूल नारायण
Because you oversee the wanderings of all living beings, for this reason, tahateo, right? How to me, Mool, you are the primeval Lord Narayan. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, Shri Krishna in his Paramatma feature lives in the hearts of all living beings in both the transcendental and mundane creations. As the Paramatma, he witnesses all actions the living beings perform in all phases of time, namely past, present, and future. Nothing can exist without his superintendence. Since he sees even the abode where the collective living beings rest, he is the original Narayan. Now let's listen to what Krishna responds. Okay. Krishna kahe na Brahma tomar na bujhi vachana,
कृष्ण कहे ब्रह्म तुम्हार ना बुझी वचन
jiva hriday jole boise se Narayana.
जीव हृदय जले वैसे से नारायण
Krishna said, Brahma, I cannot understand. Brahma, tumhara na bujhi vachan. What are you saying? I can't understand what you're saying. Lord Narayan is one who sits in the hearts of all living beings and lies down in the waters of the Karana ocean. He says that Brahma kohe jole jive jai Narayan,
ब्रह्म कहे जले जीवे ये नारायण
সেই শোভা তোমারা আমসা এই সত্য বচন।
সেই
So Brahma said, what I have said is true. Why? Because that same Lord Narayan who lives in the waters, in the hearts of all living beings, is but a plenary portion of you. The Karanadakshai, Garbhodakshai and Shirodakshai forms of Narayan all create in cooperation with the material energy. In this way, they are attached to Maya. Now, this is an interesting statement he is making. It is not that they are attached to material energy, but their service is within the jurisdiction of the material creation. But it's not that they are, conditioned or attached to the material energy. No, they are completely transcendental, but they are working in. They have an official. The Lord is working in an official capacity within the material world, in the form of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna, he says in the next, he says, not in the next, he says, the three Vishnus lying in the water are the super soul of everything. The super soul of the universes is known as the first Purusha. Garbhodakshai is the super soul of the aggregate of all living entities, and Shirodakshai Vishnu is the super soul of each individual living being. And then he says, superficially we see that these Purushas have a relationship with Maya, but above them, in the fourth dimension, is Lord Krishna, who has no contact with the material energy. So this is very interesting to understand that Krishna personally does not get involved in this creation, maintenance, destruction of this material world. How is he doing it? He's doing it through his Purusha avatars, his Guna avatars. So he's not. So Krishna is in a completely different dimension. He's in the fourth, as it's explained, he's in the fourth dimension because he has no contact with the material energy. So he's got no work to do in this material world. And that's what makes him unique and supreme. So Prabhupada explains that these three Purushas all have a relationship with the material energy called Maya, because through Maya they create the material cosmos. So through the material energy, which is subservient to them, they create the different elements of the material world. Right? But the transcendental position of Sri Krishna himself is not even slightly tinged by Maya. His transcendental state is called Turiya, or the fourth dimension. And then he quotes a verse from, this is a quotation, the next verse. He says, this is a quotation from Sridhar Swami's commentary on the 11th canto, 15th chapter, verse number 16. And he says, in the material world, the Lord is designated as Virat, or the physical manifestation of the Supreme Whole. Okay. And then Hiranya Garbha, he is the subtle soul of everything. And Karana means the cause or the causal nature. But all are but designations of the Purushas who are responsible for material creation. The transcendental position surpasses these designations and therefore called the position of the fourth dimension. All these three features of the Lord deal directly with the material energy. None of them are touched by it. They are all beyond illusion. And then he quotes a verse from, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, to establish this, he says, "This is the opulence of the Lord. Although situated in material nature, he is never affected by the modes of nature. Similarly, those who have surrendered to him and fixed their intelligence upon him are not influenced by material nature." So even those who surrender to the Lord, what happens?
Not
That
affected by.
they will not be influenced by the modes of the three modes of material nature. Okay. Now I will. He has raised his hand, so I have a question. Yes.
Just want to understand that when it is written here that Karanodakshai Vishnu is the super soul of the collective universes.
Yes.
Then it means that he is, present in all the universes.
Yes. So all the universes are being generated from him, his breathing, right?
He is Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu.
Karanodakshai are same.
So he is the super soul of all the universes. Then Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he is the super soul of each individual universe. And the Paramatma is the super soul of each living entity.
But Prabhuji, till date we have heard that they all work in stepwise. Like first of all, Mahavishnu will from his body pores, universe will generate. Then in each universe, Garbhodakshai Vishnu will go. Then in Paramatma, stepwise. But how these three dimensions? It is written here that they are working in three dimensions, and how they are in contact with material energy, like Garbhodakshai Vishnu.
What do you mean? So how I understand this is that that beyond, because they are situated within the material realm, right? So they are within those three dimensions, but they are not touched by them. It's not that they're influenced, as it's being said, they're not touched by the material energy. Material energy is working under their guidance and their supervision. So they are not touched by it. But yet they are within this material creation. But Krishna is beyond. That's why it's called he doesn't get involved in this official work of maintaining and creating. Just like even in this world, we see someone who is very influential. He's playing golf with his buddies. He has a caddy and he's playing golf, and so many people are working all over the globe under his his CEOs. He has many CEOs, and he can have multiple companies. Warren Buffett has, I don't know, more than 70 companies he operates, and every year he just writes a letter to the CEO. That's his involvement. So yeah.
Like Krishna says in Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. So under his direction, Maya Devi is working.
Yes.
So should I understand, like if I talk about Karnodakshai Vishnu, in one breath, in one breath of his, like millions of universe are creating when he's inhaling.
Yes.
And everything is happening in just one breath of him. So is he directing the Maya Devi, or is he helping Maya Devi?
Yes, so why not? They all are directing, right? So one thing is you have to understand is that although we see them separately, they are also one. They are plenary portions, but functionally they are different. But it's not like one is created and one is created and one is created. And they're all different. Yes, they're different and same, right? They have different functions, but it's the one supreme spirit that is acting in different capacities and in different functions.
When you say that these all three Purusha avatars are in the material creation, so we generally say that these all are Vaikuntahs only.
Which ones?
Like Karanodakshai Vishnu, he resides in Vaikuntha.
Yeah, so he rides in the causal ocean. Right?
So is it not part of Vaikuntha?
Yeah, it is, but then we see that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he's in every universe. Every universe is within the material creation.
But Prabhuji, will that layer where Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is residing will that be not called as Vaikuntha?
Which layer he's residing, he's the body of the universe. Right? And the super soul is also within. Now, super soul is over here. Is it not within the material creation? It is. But is it touched by the material energy? Is it influenced by the material energy? Can material energy dictate, these avatars, Purusha avatars? No, they can't. It can't. But yet, they're involved. In one sense, they're involved with the material creation. So multiple material universes are coming out from the, exhaling and inhaling. Right? So if multiple universes are coming out, so he's involved with the material creation. But Krishna is not involved.
So it is like Paramatma is within us, but he's not affected by the material.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yes.
So like body is getting disease, is the Paramatma affected?
No.
Even actually the Atma is not affected. Even the soul is not affected. So what to talk about the Paramatma? So I have two more verses and then we stop. So in 56 he says, Shaitin janera tumi paramashraya Tumi mool narayana ithi ke shamshaya. You are the ultimate shelter of these three plenary portions. Thus there is not the slightest doubt that you are the primeval Narayan. So Brahmaji has beautifully explained that who is the mool Narayan? The root Narayan is Krishna. So Brahma has confirmed that Lord Krishna is the supreme, the source of the three manifestations known as Shirodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Karanadakshaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu. So for his pastimes, Lord Krishna has four original manifestations: Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Anuruddha. The first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, in the causal ocean, who is the creator of the aggregate material energy, is an expansion of Sankarshan. The second Purusha, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, is an expansion of Pradyumna. And the third Purusha, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, is the expansion of Aniruddha. All these are within the category of the manifestations of Narayan, who is a manifestation of Sri Krishna. So the source of these three features is the Narayan in the spiritual sky. He is your Vilas expansion. Therefore, you are the ultimate Narayan. And he concludes, he says, therefore, according to the authority of Brahma, the Narayan, who is the predominating deity in this transcendental world, is but the Vilas feature of Krishna. This has now been conclusively proved. Okay. So, thank you all very much. Now, if you have any questions or realizations you'd like to share, any confusion, you have to read this a few times. and then it will start to make more sense.
Recording stopped.
Prabhuji, as it is mentioned in the verse 56, that the first Purusha avatar is Sankarshan, then Pradyumna.
No. First Purusha avatar is not.
Sorry, the first Purusha avatar, Mahavishnu, who is the creator of aggregate material energy, is an expansion of Sankarshan.
Yes.
So Prabhuji, what about Vasudev, because Sankarshan is mentioned here, then Pradyumna.
So Vasudev is expansion of Krishna. Right? And Krishna is not involved in this maintenance, creation. So Vasudev is not involved in this directly. That's what my understanding is. Sankarshan is expansion of Lord Balaram. Right? So from Balaram ji, actually all this creation and everything happens. Balaram ji is the source. He is the seva, the supreme personality of servant Godhead, right? Servitude Godhead, servitor Godhead. So how does he serve? He serves. He does all this creation and maintenance. Everything is, the primary is Lord Balaram. So he's Krishna, but Krishna is doing all this work. So you have one enjoyer and one you have the servitor. So he serves by creating all this, by maintaining. In so many different capacities, Lord Balaram is serving. So ultimately, everything is expansion of Lord Balaram. If you see, yes. So,
Would you please repeat, the Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the super soul of the collective living beings?
so in every universe, or all the individual universe, all the souls within that universe, who is the super soul? Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So that means he is the collective super soul of the whole universe. Because all the souls are within Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Garbhodaya Vishnu is the soul of the whole universe. So collectively he is the soul.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
So, yes, this is a very complex topic, and thank you for being patient and explaining. The point of it, that the realization that stuck to me, and I was very tired, so I was all dozing off, but the time I woke up was when you said that a devotee can
Yes.
see the Lord in all these layers, but also know that the Lord is beyond material nature, and hence a pure devotee can also transcend material nature.
Yes.
So that was key.
So that is
it's
the,
all like a lot of the geography of
yes.
creation, but beyond the geography, what is the main idea for bhakti yoga?
Yes. But also it also tells us that what the special position of the Lord is. We tend to think, Krishna is just a coward boy.
And he says
But
that
he's telling Brahma, because this is the nature of the supreme coward boy. He doesn't want to play the role of God. He wants to. We'll see in the next 2 chapters. Right? It's pure nectar. Basically, you get a sense of the nature of God in the next 2 chapters. Right now it is more like official. But the real nature of God, we will understand. Now we are understanding the power of God. But the sweetness of God will be revealed in the next 2 chapters. So hang in there. We just have...
so homework should be read Brahma Vimo Lila first, right?
Yeah, you can read that because you'll appreciate more about... it's a very sweet pastime, and especially the verses, the way Lord Brahma glorifies the Supreme Lord. He appreciates Him. And not only does he appreciate Him, the prayers he makes, his aspiration, the attitude for bhakti that he prays for, it's completely transcendental and so relevant for us. Like he prays, he says, I wish I can just become like the grass in Vrindavan. So all these great souls like the gopis and the gopas and the parents, and they'll be, these are the greatest of the greatest devotees. And what will I get as the grass? What will I get?
Dust.
Yeah, they will be stepping on me. So what could be better? What could be a better position than being, like the grass in Goloka? And that the famous verse, Tatte nukampa susumikshmana. What is the attitude of a devotee who goes through trouble? Lord Brahmaji prays. And then he also prays the famous verse where Stane stita shruti gatam tano jnane prayasam udapasa namanta evam. This is the verse that out of all the processes, karma, jnana, yoga, right, when Ramananda Rai, he quotes this verse. So after quoting, the path of karma kanda, the path of, karma yoga, jnana yoga, varnashram dharma, all these he quotes, and Lord Chaitanya keeps saying, no, this is not the ultimate goal, keep saying something further. Then he quotes this verse, jnane prayasam udapasa namanta evam. This is also in this chapter 14. So he says, one who has given up, jnane prayasam, who's thrown out, udapas namanta evam. He's thrown out this pursuit of knowledge and fully surrendered. Shruti gatam, tano, with mind, body and soul, he's just staying in their place without having to change their ashram or change their position, just absorbed in hearing with surrender. Then that person, what happens? He can conquer the Ajita. It says the Ajita becomes Jita, he becomes conquered. The Supreme Lord becomes conquered by such a devotee. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, now speak further. Then the conversation goes to a totally transcendental level.
Only one quick thing. The
Yes.
word he used for tuliya.
Fourth dimension.
What's the fourth layer of the manifestation? So I have no idea. What does it actually mean?
So that means beyond the material creation.
Transcendental,
Yes. Transcendental.
But
Yes.
no other scientific.
I don't know. I don't have that scientific mind to. Maybe some of you. Where Anup Prabhu? Making him explain what the fourth dimension means. Huh?
There are many dimensions in science. We can see only 3 dimensions.
That means you can't see that beyond Adhokshaja.
9 dimensions.
Right?
Even more.
12.
It's genders before.
So Adhokshaja, beyond these material senses and vision and intelligence. So Anup Prabhu, maybe you can take a class on the fourth dimension. Huh? Oh, there are 12. You are saying 12, 9. I don't know how many. Kitne?
12 abhi tak.
Acha.
12 dimensions.
But they have not seen. They can't see beyond third. So how have they gotten to the 12th?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh?
In fact, it is said that
Speculation or what? Like
No,
because
no,
they can't see it.
actually is there.
Huh?
Newton, in Newton's time, he developed in 7 dimensions. Then somebody destroyed his lab, so science again started after Newton went. They started from 3rd dimension only. Till now, 12D. That VR we see, that all that show na, it's 9D, 7D.
Acha. Yeah.
Abhijit, I have a question.
Yes.
In the verse 58 it is mentioned, therefore according to the authority of Brahma, the Narayan who is the predominated deity in the transcendental world. So that means as we read in the previous verses, so up to Narayan it is transcendental world, and then after Narayan, because Narayan expands to Karanadakshay Vishnu.
Yes.
And then there is a tinge of, because the influence of
Involvement with the
involvement of-
material
So
creation.
up to Narayan, it is transcendental world, and after that, it is like some tinge of material energy comes.
Involvement is there.
Involvement is there.
No, but Narayan is also in the Vilasa root, with 4 arms and
Yeah, so he is totally, he's not involved with this creation.
yeah, he's not, but still in Vaikuntha.
So up to Narayan, it is Vaikuntha or transcendental world, and after that it is material energy comes into play.
Yeah, so this technical answer I'll give you next time. I'm not, I want to be confident that I will, give. Okay. Yes, Vikram. Yes. Huh? Yes. To the fourth, yes.
And refers to a state of pure consciousness that transcends the 3 common states of consciousness, which is waking, dreaming, and deep sleep.
Very nice.
It is underlying, unchanging awareness that supports all other states of awareness.
Very nice.
Right? No physical dimensions is being taught. Not 7, not 12 or Einstein. That is all in material. I think it is being referred to in the conscious, the 4th dimension above the 3 which we know.
Very nice.
And it goes on.
4th dimension is the time. Time is the 4th dimension as per science. But there are multiple theories, string theory and some other theories which have explored up to many other dimensions. And it is understood like demigods and all, they exist in much higher dimensions. And
So basically, as he said, that this is more related to a state of consciousness. When we say transcendental, transcendental means transcendental to the 3 modes. Right? The modes have no effect. Right? And beyond the material creation, material consciousness, anything beyond material consciousness, transcendental. So anyway, I'll do a little bit of more research on this word. I wanted to do it this time, but I didn't get time. But
So also in science, like Newtonian is basically almost like slow motion movement. You're throwing a ball, someone's catching it. But Einstein said, let's increase the speed, so that relativity theory came in. And then Bohr and other scientists, what they did was like go really deep into particle physics. So there they saw that the perception changed the identity or the order of organization of all the particles based on the person who's perceiving it.
Okay.
The state of being, perception, and the object
yes,
are changing.
so that day also you sent a nice article about how scientists,
Yes.
there's a lot of research done on people who leave their bodies and somehow they have some energy around the brain, even after they die.
All organs have failed.
When all the organs have failed. There's one famous quote by one person, leading someone who does, all this neurology and lot of research. Like he's considered like the father of this field. And he said, after all these years, we have no idea what consciousness is. In fact, last few months there was an article that after 25 years of all these debate and all, still there is no, in the last 25 years, whatever the debates and all have happened, still they haven't figured out what consciousness is. And they're thinking maybe they had predicted they'll figure it out in the last 25 years, but it came out that they couldn't. Now maybe in the next 25 years they'll figure out something.
Even for electrons,
Yes.
particles, they do not know whether it is wave or a particle.
Yes.
It behaves sometimes like a wave and sometimes like a particle, based upon whether it is being observed or not.
Where's Gopi, Devi?
Gopi is there.
उसको बुलाना. एक मिनट बुलाना. We can have a like, huh? Yeah, this one you can put out. Yes.
Last.
Yes.